Bienvenidos, clase. I've got some good news for you today. We're starting our very last grammar point of the semester. We're going to start talking about the differences between por and para. I'm sure you've seen por and para in different activities from Spanish 1. I know we've seen them in Spanish 2. But we're going to start talking about what they actually mean and how they're used. Because both por and para mean for. So both por and para can express for, but they're used in different situations. So we're going to learn the different uses of both por and para. Instead of doing them both at once, we're just going to start with para for tonight, and we'll get to por a little bit later this week. So, something very important we should talk about is the fact that para actually has several different meanings. Para does not just mean for. It also means in order, to, and by. So para means 4 different things. And we're going to talk about how it's used and why it's used in certain situations right now. Before we begin, we're going to do this a little bit differently. Instead of me lecturing you on the different rules between para and por, you guys are going to discover the rules on your own. You're going to read sentences and you're going to tell me why para is used in these sentences. We'll do the first one together so you can get a feel for what my expectation is. So we're trying some out. So we've got porque, why. So we're going to read these 2 sentences. First one says, Yo trabajo para el consultorio del Dr. Hernandez. And nosotros trabajamos para el presidente. First thing we need to do is make sure we know what they're saying. Yo trabajo para el consultorio del Dr. Hernandez says, I work for the doctor's office of Dr. Hernandez. Nosotros trabajamos para el presidente. We work for the president. Okay, we've established what they mean. Now let's make some comparisons. What are both of these sentences talking about? Well, they both have the verb trabajar in them, and trabajar means to work. I work for the doctor's office. We work for the president. It's a pretty safe assumption here that we use para to express employment. Again, I can draw that conclusion by understanding both of these sentences and looking at the similarities in context and meaning between them. Since both of them have the verb trabajar in them, which means to work, and they're both describing who or what a person works for, we can therefore assume that para is used to express employment. Let's look at another use. So you've got 2 sentences. Ellos se van para la escuela a las 5:30, and salgo para el centro comercial pronto. Take a minute. Read the sentences, make sure you understand what they mean, and I want you to come up with a rule that explains why para is used in both of these sentences. So you're going to come up with one rule to explain why para is used in both Ellos se van para la escuela a las 5:30 and salgo para el centro comercial pronto. What did you come up with? Let's talk about what these mean first. So we have, they left for school at 5:30, and I left for the mall soon. What are these sentences both expressing? Well, we've got irse and salir. Irse and salir, both of which mean to leave. Okay, so in this case, para is telling us where they're going to, right? Because para is followed by a place. So for both of these, para is explaining the destination. Okay, para expresses destination or movement towards something. So far we've talked about the fact that para is used to express employment, and it's used to express destination or movement towards something. Let's try out another. El coche que compré es para mi madre. El chef te hizo un pastel para ti. You're going to do the same thing. Read these two sentences, understand what they mean, and figure out why is para used in both of these sentences. Remember, it's one rule for both sentences. Our first sentence says, the car that I bought is for my mom. The second sentence says, the chef made you a cake. What are both these sentences talking about? Both of them are expressing to whom or for whom something is occurring. Ooh, to whom / for whom. That little phrase should be triggering some warning bells in your head. Remember, if we're expressing to whom or for whom, that's also known as an indirect object. So we use para to express an indirect object or the recipient of an action. Let's look at another use of para. Para mí es importante cortar el césped cada día, and para nosotros es necesario cepillarnos los dientes. Again, read these two sentences, figure out what they're saying, and try to come up with a rule that expresses why para is used in both of them. Our first sentence says, for me, it's important to mow the lawn every day. Our second sentence says, for us, it is necessary to brush our teeth. I think this one was tricky. Both of these, para is used to express an opinion. In English, an example of this would be, well, for me, it's important to study. Okay? Para is used to express opinion. Let's talk about another use of para. Él escribe los artículos para darle información a la gente, and jugamos para divertirnos. Again, try to come up with a rule as to why para is used for both of these sentences. Our first sentence says, he writes the articles in order to give information to the people. We play in order to have fun. What did you notice that both these sentences have in common? I said that both of them included an in order to. So, para is used to express in order to or a purpose. The purpose of him writing articles is to give information to the people. The purpose of us playing is to have fun. Para is used to express in order to or purpose. We've got one more rule. La tarea es para mañana y tú necesitas estar en la oficina para las 8. What's the rule here? Why is para used in both of these sentences? Our first sentence says the homework is for tomorrow, and the second sentence says you need to be in the office by 8 o'clock. Both of these sentences are expressing a deadline. Para is used to express a deadline. That's it. Those are our main uses of para. There's a couple other ones that we'll talk about in class, but these guys are our basics, our main uses of para. So let's recap them really quick. Remember, para means more than just for. It means in order to and by. And para is used to express employment, like yo trabajo para la escuela. It's used to express movement towards something or a destination. Salimos para Madrid. It is used to express the recipient or an indirect object. El regalo es para Lola. Para is used to express opinion. Para ellos, la clase es difícil. It is also used to express the purpose. There was a typo on there. I apologize. Purpose, or in order to. Practicamos para aprender. And para is also used to express deadline. I want you to take a minute, I've got some questions for you. Tell me why para is used in each of those sentences. There you have it. You have just learned the basics of para, why we use para. Tomorrow in class, we're going to do some review. I would encourage you to make sure you remember those 6 uses of para for tomorrow. Hint, hint on that one. Because we are going to get more practice with para tomorrow, and then you guys will start learning about por a little bit later this week. Adios!